Hey, Heidi Schmidt with Opticom. I am here today to tell you a story about a sawmill that's in Philadelphia, Mississippi, and my buddy Robbie. So this particular one happens to be a warehouser. And I guess about 6, 7, 8 years ago, it's been a really long time since I met him. And, his big problem, right? So we'll say, or not necessarily problem, because I find with a lot of industrial sites, it's not that we necessarily have a problem. It's just that we don't realize that there's a solution, right? So he was putting a camera on his debarker, right? So for those of you not in the sawmill industry or aren't familiar with that, a debarker is a device that has a huge, not a device. When you say device, you think small. This thing's massive, right? And logs go through it, and it's got these like rolling things, that's the technical term, things that have spikes all over them, and you push the log through it, and it literally shakes it and pokes it the whole time. Again, this is not the technical terms, so that all the bark comes off of the log, right? So then you can process it through the rest of the processing, or the rest of the process through the mill. So that's what the debarker is. So you can imagine when you've got these massive logs, right, bouncing and bounding down this conveyor, and then they go through this big thing, how much vibration is there? So what Robbie told me when we met 6, 7, 8 years ago, however long ago it was, right, was that, hey, I'm replacing my camera on my debarker every week, right? Every week. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Every week? That's insane, right? But you don't know what you don't know, right? And so when you're in these kind of industries, or high vibration, or even hazardous industries, you're thinking like, you know what? The guy before me had to replace this every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it may be, right? So that's just what we do. There's not a better way. And it's not that there's not a better way. It's just that you don't know that there's a better way. So I tell Robbie, I'm like, yo, here's what we're going to do. And I probably said, yo, I said, here's what we're going to do. Okay. So I've got this camera. Let's do it. I want you to throw it on there. And if you have any problems, you call me, you let me know, and I'll take it back. No problem. No questions asked, because I'm confident. I'm that confident in our product that you're going to put this on here and you're not going to have a problem. So I sell Robbie the CC02 camera. This is it, right? If you know Opticom, you know this camera, right? We love this camera because it's awesome. It does everything, and it works for so many applications and industries that it's just insane. But that's a story for another day. So this is the camera, right? So this is the CC02. And that's what we did, and that's what we sold them, right? And then I sold them this little cool bracket that we have right here, okay? So this is the VM-1. So these CC02 cameras are vibration resistant as is. They're awesome. Okay, so they're vibration resistant. They don't need anything else. But because he was putting it on that debarker, and I know what that debarker does to cameras, right? That's what I do. That's my business to know that, right? So I know what it does. So I said, I'm going to get you this. You need to have this little VM-1 vibration mount. And you can kind of see like the vibration mount, the grommets right through here. And we put it on there. And do you know what happened? Robbie bought more cameras because they work. And they work for what he needs it to do. And he didn't replace it. Now, last year, I think it was last summer, I went down and I went and visited him at his mill. I said, Robbie, how's it going? How's that? And just on a whim. And I see him every couple of years at the trade shows and stuff like that. So just on a whim, I'm like, how's that camera? And he comes out, right? I love it because he had been ordering, he orders equipment from us pretty regularly. And he comes out with the vibration mount from that camera he put on his debarker so long ago. And you could see all the rubber grommets, right? I love this, right? We're all worn down, right? So I said, man, what happened? He said it took, I think 6 years. He said about 6 years. So it must have been 6 years ago, right? It took 6 years for this to finally wear down. He's like, so I ordered another bracket and put it on the camera, and off we went. We're back in business. And I'm like, what? Like, I mean, guys, so for this industry, that's insane to have a camera on a debarker for 6 years. And the problem, the camera doesn't go bad, but it literally wears down the vibration mount so much. But then all you're doing is you're replacing a vibration mount. So this is the kind of stuff we do, right? You can't help but not get excited about it, right? I mean, so this is what we do, is we find these things that aren't necessarily problems, but we just create a better way to do it. So imagine you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, this camera is gonna, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna buy this cheap camera, because that's what he was doing at this point, was literally ordering $80 cameras off of Amazon. Because I mean, if you've got a camera that you're replacing every week, you're just, at this point, it doesn't matter if it's expensive or if it's cheap, you're gonna do it. Because you know what? The expensive cameras don't always mean industrial. Just because it's rugged, or just because it's tough, or it's bulletproof, does not mean that it is going to last in a vibration atmosphere or an environment, or an area where it's going to get hit with wood chips on a regular basis, or it's going to have rocks flying up and popping the glass on a regular basis. Just because it says it's tough doesn't necessarily mean it's tough. Okay, so to have a camera that holds up to that is just incredible. So I could not wait to share this story. And I tell people all the time when I talk to them about it, right? And you know what's even crazier is that he's not the only guy. We get this story time and time again from people that are like, yep, every week. every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it may be that they're replacing a product. So we love to come in and say, hey, I bet that I have a product that's going to work for you and do what you need it to do. So if you want more information on this camera or have any more questions, definitely give us a call at 1-800-578-1853, or you can visit our website at www.opticomtech.com. Thanks and have a great day.